But that's, as a whole, for each person, it's different. And the full development is not the same. That's not the same.
Stanley, you can say whatever you like, bro, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, but, bro, if you're 20 years old, you know murder's wrong. That's it.
Okay. As I was going to say, the full development does not mean that you're not, 95% developed at a younger age. I'm not an expert on it, but I did look up that fact. But what I also want to point out is, according to the American Psychological Association, transgender is not something that is a belief, but is based upon how you are born. And ascribing that to being left or right may not be the best way to go. We don't know all this yet. So be careful in that one. I do realize that some people don't subscribe to the science, but I will also point out that science brought us these great supercomputers we have in our pockets right now that enable us to talk online. So to the degree that you want to refute science, maybe some of our advances only came from science. But my main point is that there are people behind the Trump movement that are trying to divide the country. They are trying to use social media and its current implementation to cause people to hate each other, to cause divisiveness. They understand the algorithms, and they're taking advantage of it. I will cite that, for example, J.D. Vance said they were using Carl Schmitt's stuff, and Carl Schmitt was one of the early political philosophers that existed in the 1930s. I didn't like the outcome of the 1930s. I hate what I heard on X a couple nights ago. There's way too much anti-Semitism going on, just rampant. No reason for that. And where we are right now shouldn't be being promoted by a small segment of people behind the current administration. You can see it in Vance's speeches that he's trying to promote that. And we can see what Mr. Miller or Stephen Miller said today, trying to suggest that there's going to be retaliation or they were going to go after people. Instead, what I think we need to tone it down. We heard Governor Cox of Utah say something a couple days ago. I really hope that we can tone it down, and I hope that those that are behind the philosophy that exists for how Trump got to where he is right now.
I need you to landscape. Thank you.
Terry, this is
Jordan, hold on, Jordan.
I will be
There's been a bunch of people that haven't spoken yet. I promise to get right back to you. Let me do a quick reset. Can I just give you conversations, collaboration? Will Charlie Kirk's death spark more violence? I say absolutely. Let me say hello to Johannes, Rosette, how you doing? XG, good to see you. Shy, good to see you. Megan, Dr. Captain, always a pleasure. Ash, Rabbi, Jen, good to see you. Guys, you have a pink ticket, please cash those in. We have great conversations in this house all the time. I'm going to go to the next speaker, Jordan. I promise I'll get to you. I'm going to go to my friend Matt Manzella, who I haven't spoken to in a while, and I'm always happy when he's here. Matty, how you doing?
Doing well, Jay. How's it going?
Man, fucking Jets suck ass, but other than that, I'm great.
I'm a Giants fan, but I'm suffering with you. That's all I can tell you. What I was going to say on the issue is there are a lot of events all the time. Nye earlier said that that the right doesn't riot when bad things happen. Most people don't riot when bad things happen. The Minnesota lawmakers were killed. The left didn't riot. McVeigh blew up a federal building. The left didn't riot. RFK was killed. The left didn't riot. There's a long history of not rioting, and there's 3 instances maybe in the last 40 years where there have been significant riots in the United States. I would say there has been violence from both sides for the entirety of my lifetime. And it's usually fringe people. It is always unfortunate. And the best thing we can do is take care of our neighbors and make sure people live in a good world, because people that live in a good world are less likely to commit violence. And I'll just end on that.
Thank you, Matt. Jason Voorhees, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Sorry about your Jets. My Jaguars got their hearts broken as well.
Man, I'd rather be a Jaguar fan, bro. But it might be
true. Okay. All right, man. Yeah, so I was just gonna say this. I think we always get caught up in the trap of the finger pointing and stuff. And Trump is just as guilty as the left that he talks about. Now, with that said, a lot of the things he said about the left is true. I don't care what none of y'all say. A lot of that stuff is true. But he does turn a blind eye to the things that his own base does. That is true as well. And I think what gets missed a lot of times in these conversations is that two things can be true. Both sides can be very violent if they feel like it, and they have been when they felt like it. But I think that the people on the right it's already kind of like Trump is already kind of known as like this anti-fascist and incites violence and all that, and people already kind of look at his supporters as that. So like nobody's usually breaking news when we say, oh yeah, people on the right do violent things. What I tend to see more so is that the left, they act like they don't do anything. Like and a lot of their supporters act like they don't ever do anything. And they do. And when they act like they don't, it makes it worse. So when you have situations like when people on the right die or they call for the death of people, I will even go here. When Biden was in office and he was looking real sick, everything like that, and we didn't see him for months and we didn't know what was going on, I didn't see anybody talking about they hope he dead and that he don't come back and all this type of stuff. But when they seen that Trump looked like he was sick, I guess he had something going on. They could see on his hands or whatever the case may be. And it was like, oh, the day might be coming. And it was going viral saying it too. Like it was going around and it was like, oh, it might actually happen, and they like waiting for it. And then obviously you see the reaction to the Kirk stuff. But my thing is, we know what the right be doing. We already know, extreme conservatives also, are very violent. And it's always kind of put on Front Street. The left stuff is usually not. You usually got to fight through a lot of gaslighting to get a Democrat supporter to admit that they do anything wrong. But that's it.
Thank you, Jason. I'm going to read this. I put a new article on top, guys. Let me read the title for this article. Charlie Kirk assassination suspect had a furry fixation. I still don't know what the fuck that is. And his trans boyfriend proclaimed support for Biden on social media. So here's the thing. Anybody says this is not politically motivated, I get it. Let's wait till the investigation's over. Forget that these things were etched on these bullets that killed this man. Let's just forget all that. Let's forget he's 20 years old. Let's all make excuses for why this man did what he did. Just my opinion. But I'm going to go to, hold on. Everybody, hold on, David. I know you guys are biting at the bit, but I'm going to get to speak. I haven't spoken yet. Then I'm going to go to Jordan and David. Adrian, how you doing, Adrian?
What's going on with you, man?
Chilling. You want to chime in?
Five have
already done it.
I do. I implore everyone
have already done
in this room to look at my PTR. Y'all see that, right? Y'all see that, right? Yeah, we remember that day when that shit happened. People was like, what the fuck is going on in this country? This shit look like something out of V for Vendetta. It's like some Chancellor Sutton type shit. Right? Okay. This motherfucker was talking cash money shit to the American people. But we know who he was talking to because he was only talking to them.
I've already done it.
You weren't talking to Trump supporters. No way, buddy. When we talk about political violence in this damn country, I agree with the last person. What the last speaker just said. People love to have selective memories, selective outrage. Because when it comes to their side, they turn a blind eye to act like it never happened. To prove this point, January 6th, right? We know January 6th up and down, inside out, in and around and about.
This was legal
And
notice
awesome. We know
Monday.
everything about January 6th. By the way, we still don't know who the hell planted the pipe bombs at the DNC and the RNC, but that's another topic. But let me tell you something else that people don't know. May 29th, 2020. People like, yo, what the hell is that, Adrian? May 29th is when far left activists tried to run up into the White House.
Terry, this is legal.
They set fire to St. John's Church. They set fire to guard posts, injured cops, and everything. Over 100-some cops they injured. They actually tried to run up into the White House, which what prompted Donald Trump to be ushered off to the bunker. And when that happened, they called it bunker bitch. Why are you teasing the guy for looking out for his safety? Y'all are trying to run up into the house where he literally sleeps with his family. But hey, let's talk about the insurrection that happened at the Capitol. That, by the way, the right had firearms out the wazoo and didn't shoot not a single person. But yet, let's label this as the most deadliest thing that happened to our country since Pearl Harbor. That was the narrative, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead, bro.
I
just want to highlight the hypocrisy. A lot of people like to, you know what I'm saying, overlook and shit. But you know, I'm a highlighter. I'm a hypocrisy highlighter. So yeah, go right ahead.
You should change your name. That's a great name. You should change your name to that. I love that name.
Yeah.
There's plenty of hypocrisy on this app. You know that. But thank you for your share. Let me go to Shy Shy. Hey, Shy Shy. Sky, you there?
This is more or less the subject.
All right.
You
Oh, there she is.
What's happened to the
I'll definitely come back to you. I'm going to go to DQ, then I'll go to Jordan, David, and back to you, Shy Shy. DQ, how you doing?
Minorities have ruled.
Hey, what's going on?
Today, probably.
Hey, man, catching that pink ticket is free.
Oh, my bad. What you doing?
No worries, man.
90%. Very seldom.
Do I think the assassination will start more violence? I'm gonna be honest, bro. No. Well, maybe. I think due to our news cycle, this is gonna be one of those other events that happen, and we gonna stop talking about it in 2 weeks from now. So it's gonna be more the same until the next news cycle happens again. Unfortunately, as it is, this is just one of the moments like, okay, this happened. It's a hot topic. We're gonna move on. People gonna forget about. We're conditioned to do that at this point. So as far as more violence, I don't think so. It's gonna be whatever the next thing that's gonna happen. We're just gonna move on. We're gonna focus on to the next thing. So political violence is not new in this country. It was here before us. It's gonna be here after us. So it's just like one of those things that we have as Americans. That shit just happens. It sucks, but it's part of where we come from. Like, violence has always been there.
Focus is really your
Sometimes you don't agree with it, but it happens. We got to be prepared for when it happens. What do we do?
Thank you, DQ. I appreciate your share, man. Appreciate it. Hey, now you there? I want to go to you for a second.
Yes.
You know what's funny? What this young man just triggered a thought in my head, which is very rare. We haven't heard anything about the Epstein files in weeks.
Well, yeah, another great distraction. This is, you know what I'm saying? I told you the other night when my 3 theories months ago were going to come to fruition about what would be the next distraction. We got all 3. You know, for those who didn't hear, a couple months ago we were talking about the Epstein files, and this was right around the time Trump released, he claimed he released some unsealed documents on MLK, and MLK's family was feeling some way. And I said, JB, listen, all this is a distraction, and be prepared for additional distractions. And those distractions could come in the form of some sort of UFO alien invasion. I was being funny, but not really. I said we'll either have some terrorist or mass shooting, and some white girl will suffer a tragedy because, every time a white girl goes missing, and I'm not trying to be funny or be racist, but a pretty white girl suffers some sort of tragedy. It makes local, international headlines, and all 3 has come true. We've had the Kirk assassination. We had that the innocent Ukrainian girl who was stabbed, and the scientists claim there's some sort of UFO hurling towards Earth, some sort of massive object. They don't know what it is. Is it alien? Is it a rock? We don't know, but it's coming towards Earth. All 3 distractions. And so what's next? I mean, we're only in September. What's going to be next, guys? We won't hear nothing about Epstein probably until next election cycle? Maybe, I don't know. But we are entering the fall season, so we might get a COVID variant as the next level distraction.
Bite your tongue. No more COVID. By pinning the article to the top, guys, Trump blasts the left and announces major investigations underway after Charlie Kirk's assassination. See, here's the point I made the other day, and I'll say it again. I know some of you right-leaning people are going to get mad at me, but Donald Trump needs to shut the fuck up. Just shut up. This is the type of rhetoric that just stokes all this shit, man, and I believe that wholeheartedly. Jordan, we're going to go Jordan, David, then Justin. Jordan, you there?
Yeah, I mean, I do think we're...
Terry Newsom.
Point. I mean, again, Zuckerberg kind of deregulated fact-checking.
Canada Congressman Jack Kitover legal statement.
We were just waiting for a story, not necessarily one that would distract us.
So this is legal notice on
from
the
the
Monday.
Epstein
I
files
found
because
the
we
first
didn't know, but
defamation
these
signed
stochastic
against you will be seeking 40,000
attempts at
against
terror
are cease and desist
really,
for this on immediately.
really kind of
seeking wage
tragic and interesting. I mean,
against
we're
your home
distracted
should be
by the notion of whether or not this was a political thing, no matter what the ideology of this young man was. But the truth is, we flooded the internet with so much stuff that is algorithmically driven, that is sowing confusion and more hate. It's actually unbelievable. I have a counterterrorism expert from Israel who's now in residence at Brandeis. She was at Yale. And I wasn't thinking about this, but she wants to come back on the show, and we were really talking about Israeli-Palestinian affairs. But she's now an expert on cybersecurity and cyber hate. And so I'm going to ask her, because I think the question is this perpetrated by international entities who know that they can, let's say, Islamist groups that know that sowing this kind of hate and using it as a tool to divide the Jewish community, even as one thing, blah, 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 blah. It's so interesting to me. Maybe Abby can speak to this, but I'm going to have her on and maybe see if she could talk specifically about, her name is Dr. Koblitz. She's at Reitman University, but she could maybe speak to this specifically. And I'm done.
Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate you. David, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just
David?
commenting.
Hey, Brock.
I'm just going to comment the fact that you brought up about the furry thing.
Review Terry Newsom.
I would just be cautious about making those complete facts, even when they're released by certain politicians of the towns or whatever. Because over and over, these preliminary,
Illinois,
quotation mark facts, many of them turn out to be complete bullshit. And that one may be true, 100%. I mean, I don't freaking know. There's no way I know if that's true or not. And it just so often is people get their information from Facebook facts, news facts, and a lot of the news are complete bullshit. And even much so, I mean, if you look at the time.
Hey, David, I get my facts from TikTok, but go ahead.
Even from right when the day of, I mean, there was facts coming out. Oh, this, maybe it's that, maybe it's this. I mean, even people on the left were saying it's this. Now I'm hearing even the sheriff, his dad may not be a sheriff. And it's just be cautious about what you hear, even when it's coming from politicians in that area, because there's such a pressure to release shit. They'll just willing to make up crap. Or not necessarily make up crap. They may hear a rumor and then go off that because they have pressure to have releases. Even the different sheriff agencies, to the different state police, whatever agency it is, they have so much pressure to release stuff. And it a lot of times is not 100% correct. And you just look at patterns of any mass shooting or any big incident. And in college, we had multiple weeks of hearing the press releases versus the few weeks later the actual police report and the things that just differ on that. And I mean that's just with anything, with any event that happens like this. Just be cautious about what is truly a fact and don't rush into it.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David. Shy, you ready to jump in or no? I can come back if you want. Go ahead, the mic's yours.
Should I just answer the question?
You know how I run the rooms. You could talk about whatever you like.
JB,
I think it will spark more violence.